Hey guys, how's it going, guys? Well, clearly I just rolled out of bed. And I rolled out of bed to listen to the new In Flames album and talk about it with you guys. So I'm going a little unorthodox today. Done 5 videos about this already. I didn't do a playlist or anything, but they're all on my channel. I did a video for every In Flames single to come out in representation of the new album Foregone, which came out today. Now, I just want to chill and talk about the whole album now that I've listened to it. We can have a civil discussion about it. I'm going to start by saying that at the end of the day, we're all In Flames fans, regardless of which era of the band we prefer. So if you hear me start to talk about the clean vocals or the poppy chord progressions, it's not meant to be insulting. It's just my preference versus that of others. So yeah, if you're still on board, this is just going to be me talking about the new In Flames album for probably 15 minutes. I haven't decided yet, as I'm recording this, like what song I'm going to use for the background, but I'll list it in the description. It's probably going to be something I've made with one of my bands. So getting into the new In Flames album, Foregone, which dropped today. The beginning of all things that will end is a beautiful acoustic intro with other cool folk instrumentation happening. It really reminds me of the opening to Star Forsaken on the 1994 In Flames album, Lunar Strain, a little bit. Or maybe the Paul Anders Visa instrumental from 1999's Colony. Then from there we go into State of Slow Decay. That was the first single they put out for this record. It was better the second time I listened to it. I heard it the day it was released and thought it was meh and never listened again, but the riffs in the song are great even though they're typical for the genre. It's a cool driving song and a great way to come off the acoustic intro. Meet Your Maker, that was the last single they just put out. It's just a fun, bouncy song. I like the blend of older and newer In Flames styles, and Chris Broderick's solo in this song, in my opinion, is the best solo on the whole album. But from there we go into Bleeding Out, and that one kind of disappointed me. It disappointed me. It's pretty boring, it's pretty uninspired, but I will say that the heavier old school songs on this album might be considered like fan service for someone like myself, while songs like Bleeding Out are fan service for fans of albums like Siren Charms or Battles. So if you like the In Flames albums, Siren Charms from 2015 or Battles from 2016 or 2017, I can't remember, you'll probably really like the song Bleeding Out. Then we go into Foregone Part 1, and that's my favorite track on this whole album. I love all the riffs, the vocals are so driving, Anders is really mad on this one, and it complements the music very well. I also love the time signature changes in this song. The 3/4 timing in the chorus and the solo section specifically is great. If you're a newer fan of In Flames, unfamiliar with the Horacle album from 1997, and you like the song Foregone Part 1, definitely check out Gyroscope off the Horacle album. I think you'll really enjoy it. In total contrast, though, with everything I just said, Foregone Part 2 is probably my least favorite song on this album. One of the things In Flames does more now than ever before is the weird transition from heavy vocals, riffs, and drums to quiet, clean vocals and lo-fi program drums, which for some reason I can't stand. There's something just too out there about it. It's just too big a departure for me, even for newer In Flames albums. The main riff in this song slams, though. I love those drop-tuned, heavy melodic riffs with a descending progression. Pure Light of the Mind is way too big a departure for me. It's more of a quiet, clean vocal with lo-fi beats thing, and it just it sounds too much like Stan Smith or something early on in the song, like a British pop song. It just kind of kills the whole thing for me. I will say, though, that this song has a lot of cool guitar harmonies in it, It's got that uplifting 80s movie soundtrack vibe at times, but honestly, the chorus sounds like Seether or Saliva when that kicks in heavy, and I just can't do it. It's just too westernized. The Great Deceiver absolutely rips. I love the main riff. Reminds me of Van Halen's Panama, and overall, this is a great fist-pumping song filled with aggressive vocals and complementary riffs and drums. This song could have easily been on 1999's Colony. This is one of the few songs on the record I have to sing along to the whole way. In the Dark, though, is just weird. Vocally, Anders has like a Billy Talent thing going on, and I just can't do it. It's just too indie rock or Canadian rock to me when the chorus kicks in. Again, if you enjoy this song, I'm happy for you. Then we go into a dialogue in B-flat minor, and that got me all excited because the title reminded me of A Dialogue with the Stars, which is another banger you can find on 1997's Oracle album. Anyway, this song has its really poppy moments in the chorus, but it's just too damn catchy. Like, I have to admit I like this one. I love the 80s style guitar harmonies, the lyrics and vocal patterns in the verses and choruses, and the contrast between the heavy verses and clean choruses. This is what I mean when I say inspired. Like, this is an inspired, well-written song, and it totally won me over when it comes to the modern In Flames sound. Cynosure, though, is another, like, Canadian rock-sounding song to me. It's too westernized. It lacks all the Swedish goodness that makes me love In Flames. But again, this is the kind of song you'll love if you love the album Siren Charms or Battles. And the transmission, I just got the notification. They just dropped like a lyric video or something for it. You can watch that on YouTube. And the transmission has some great heavy riffs in it. I love the vocals and guitar work in the verses, but the chorus just totally lets me down. The lyrics and vocal patterns in the chorus just have westernized nu metal from the 90s and 2000s written all over them. The chorus reminds me of Korn, and that's just not what I need from In Flames. However, if I'm ever in the mood to go back to my Korn Latin high school roots, I might just listen to this one again. And then the album closes out with Become One. And that's another song like A Dialogue in B-flat minor. It's got a sweet, inspired blend of old and new In Flames, things happening stylistically. It's the perfect bridge between the sounds you hear on, say, 2006's Come Clarity, which in my opinion is the best modern In Flames album, and then 2000's Clayman, which was kind of the transitional point between old school and new school In Flames, at least from my perspective. The solo in this one also fucking rips, my god. It's got one of those catchy licks within the solo that is alternate picked incredibly fast, but it's so crisp. Not just the musicianship, but the production on it is so great that you can hear every note, and that makes it catchy. Like when your brain catches up with the notes and your brain locks onto that melody and you get that dopamine hit. The chorus is pop as all hell, but it's got a cool anthem vibe to it, almost something you'd hear on like a symphonic or in a symphonic metal song from a band like Nightwish. It has Euro influence all over it, and that's what keeps it in play for me. Okay, so like in conclusion, I'll say a few things. Like, if you're still paying attention at this point, I really appreciate you. So one thing I'll say is that like, and I'm one of these people. Like, I'm in my late 30s, and I prefer 90s In Flames. But, it took me a while to get over the change. But, one thing I'll say is that, like, artists owe you nothing. Like, artists, like, are not under any kind... They're not, like... They don't have an obligation to give you a specific kind of art. Artists can do whatever they want. That's what makes art, right? So... one cool thing about it, though, is if you prefer 90s In Flames, you've been waiting for that sound to come back. Those albums, Lunar Strain, Subterranean, Jester Race, Horacle, Colony, Clayman, I think I missed Black Ash Inheritance. Those albums still exist. They're out there. You can listen to them anytime you want. Those songs are still great, and they're still out there for your ears. If you're a newer In Flames fan and you haven't delve back into the first handful of albums, like, I'd say, check them out just for your own perspective. Another thing you can do, if you haven't done so already, I have attempted this before, because I play guitar and a little drums. I mean, if you want that 90s In Flames sound back that badly, and you are capable of forming a melodic death metal band, like if you like that style of melodic death metal band that much, and you haven't started your own yet, tons of bands are doing it. Ever since At the Gates, In Flames, and Dark Tranquillity kind of collectively forged this sound out of Gothenburg, right, in the 90s. Like, I don't want to say, when I say cookie cutter, it's not like, it's not meant to be derogatory or whatever, but like, there are so many melodic death metal bands trying to recreate that sound or like rehash that sound but make it their own. If you want that sound back so badly and you like to play it, I encourage you to start, form one of these many melodic death metal bands. Like, keep that sound alive, and, I don't know what kind of interest it's going to garnish in today's music scene, in today's market, but I mean, you can always go back and listen to old school In Flames, and if you're a musician, if you're a guitar player especially, you can always recreate, you can always make your own version of that sound, and, perpetuate that art in your own way. So yeah, that's all I got. Ratings, I don't really do ratings, but for Foregone by In Flames, I'm gonna say I'm 50% giddy because of the amazing guitar work on 90% of this album. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for the licks, the leads, the harmonies, that 80s sound mixed with that heavy drop tune sound. I mean, I think I don't know what the hell they play in now. I mean, back in the day, most classic melodic death metal was in like C or B. I don't know what the hell they play in now. I haven't researched it. I haven't learned any new In Flames. I think I saw them playing 7-string guitars on something recently, but I don't know. So I'm gonna say I'm 50% giddy about it because there's enough like fan service on this album for me as an old school fan to like get behind it. And I'm 25% bummed because I listened to the first 3 singles that came out for this, which were, I think, State of Slow Decay, Great Deceiver, and Foregone Part 1. All 3 of those songs fucking rip, and I was like, holy shit, we might get a throwback album here. Not the case, but it is a perfect bridge album between the old and the new. So, and what do we have left over? I would also say that I am 25% just tolerating this record because of that, because it is such a perfect union of both primary eras of the band. And hopefully, that gets some older fans like myself into some newer songs and some newer fans into some older songs. I think that's another really cool thing that you can do with a band like this. It's changed so much stylistically over the years, but has existed for as long as they have. So, if you're still paying attention, if you're still with me, I appreciate you. Like and subscribe. And thanks for checking this out. Peace.